Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, Camping with Jersey Joe. It has been a minute and it probably will still be another minute. Today is October 2nd. I am nearing the end of my 2-week stay at Lakeside, Texas at U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Campground at Hordes Creek Lake. And I've been here because of the weather. Not the weather here. The weather here is gorgeous, a little warm. But in Quartzsite, it's still well over 100 degrees. And even though I could take it and I can sustain myself with air conditioning, walking the dogs in that heat, in that desert climate, my pups would not do well. And part of the responsibility when you have dogs and you're traveling like this, you pretty much have to take care and cater to them, especially since I'm by myself. Well, let me show you my my rig, my truck. Okay, here's the pickup. Got her all hand waxed with a wax I got out of Walmart that requires no water because water is at a premium out here. But here's my cooking setup. Okay, and this is a Weber grill, the 1200. And what I do, right now I'm using a 1-pound tank. I can connect a 20-pound tank to it, but I also can convert it, and which I was doing when I was at Thunder Canyon, and I can cook off the propane connection in the back of my rig. But right now, the way everything is lined up, I can't do that. When I get to Quartzsite, I plan on converting it back to being able to cook off my rig. I still am going to cook on the back of my truck because it does get very windy out there in the desert. And I'm going to have to probably even do more modifications on it. Here's the trailer. I have a new flag holder. I had a couple of magnetic ones that they were okay, but they had the flags too low. This I got that attaches to my hitch pole, and they look pretty good. Here are my hookups. And again, if it wasn't for the dogs, I wouldn't care. And here is the interior of the campsite. I love the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers campsites. This is the second time I've been here. I'm going, in fact, Friday, I'm going for another week to a different campground. You can only stay 14 days at federal sites before you have to move. I'm going to another Army Corps of Engineers campsite. And the reason I love them is they're pretty spread apart. And you do have a covered area here with a concrete table and benches. I've got plenty of room here to put my dog's pen up, trees. There is a fire pit there and a grill, which I haven't used. But plenty of room here. I love it. Here's the side of my rig. You're looking at that broken awning piece. It's still broken. I have the replacement part in my truck. I didn't have enough time to get it replaced. I have help at Thunder Canyon, except for the fact we had a storm right before I left, so I couldn't get it done. But I plan to get some help and have that done when I get to Quartzsite. It's been a trial. All right, let me go show you here. Take a walk, and we'll show you the evaporating lake. I was here back, I guess about a year ago, at a site not too far from here, and waterfront here is not waterfront anymore. This is a lake in Texas that does not have any supporting water coming in. In other words, there are no creeks feeding it. There are no underground wells coming in. It is either sustained with rainwater or it isn't. And it is, water levels are pretty low, and they were low a year ago. I'm taking my time here. I'm looking on the ground, make sure I don't run into any danger noodles out here, as well as fire ants, which from my time in Florida, I know them all too well. There's another campsite. And here we're approaching the lake. It's quiet, it's beautiful. There are campsites all around, as well as pavilions you can rent to throw bigger parties. But look at this. Here's a campsite right here. There's another campsite there. You may see in the distance a truck and a trailer. That's where I was last year when I came through here, but I didn't feel the need to get a waterfront site because, lo and behold, it really is not waterfront anymore. Now I'm going through some tall grass here, and I do have to be mindful of the critters. Okay, and here we are getting ready to the water. You can see water barriers up. The lake. But this is still a beautiful park. I love the way the Army Corps of Engineers sets up their parks. You have all the amenities. You have electric, you have water. There is no dump. Well, there is no dump at the site, but there is a dump on the way out that I can go to, which I will be using. As you can see in front of me, with various water pipes sticking out of the water and all the water barriers up here, that the water is very low here. There's a site there with that truck, and that's where I stayed a year ago. But very quiet. There are sites all over. It's just beautiful. And I'll be going to another Corps of Engineers park about 55 miles away from here in Comanche, Texas. I'll be going back east a little bit. And I'll spend a week there. And from what I gathered with the weather reports, I'll be leaving there on the 11th. Take me about maybe 6 days to get to Quartzsite. And by then, we should be down into the mid to low 90s, which I can handle, which the dogs can handle. And I'm self-sustained, so I can even put on my air conditioning. It's just right now when the temperature is 104 degrees today out there, taking them out to do their business 4 times a day is not good on their pads. So here we go. So you can see, the water is pretty low out here. They're not even, they've closed all the boat ramps. You can't even launch any boats anymore. But I want to say when I was here a year ago, they had boat ramps open, so the water had to be maybe another, maybe 3-4 feet higher. But that bare area right here, I still saw a big portion of that. And when I was here last year, the water never got close to those yellow barriers up on the ridge there. So that's the only negative here, but it is still a beautiful park. It's gorgeous out here. Every site has some type of shade for trees. It is just gorgeous. And if it wasn't for the fact that I had the dogs, I would probably go somewhere in Boondock. But running my air conditioner sustained on a day-to-day basis is something I don't want to test, especially with them, with the pups. But all in all, it's good. Today is the 2nd day of October. I'll be leaving here Friday morning, the 4th, heading to Comanche, Texas. Now I'm going to return the camera back to me. There we go. All right, so what has happened in 2 weeks? 3 weeks ago, or almost 3 weeks ago, I left Thunder Canyon. Immediately after I left, I started experiencing what is called washboarding, where you're traveling and you're going over a road that has ruts in it, created by trucks, and much like a washboarding device. And except for the fact there was one problem. The road was level. There was no washboarding. and it was intermittent. It wouldn't. It would occur every half hour or so. So instead of driving 250 miles my first day, I made it 85 miles, went to a Cracker Barrel, stayed overnight, and did some research on what happened. And it turns out it's a thing. Certain cars, and especially my truck as being one of them, can suffer from what is called torque converter shudder. And if you haven't heard of that, neither did I, but guess what? There is a solution that is made and sold in AutoZone stores. It is a liquid that you can add to the transmission fluid, and depending on the severity, can either give you 1 day of relief from the shudder, or maybe up to, as far as what I learned on YouTube, up to 60,000 miles. Well, obviously I caught mine early, and it worked. But to get to that point, I had to add the fluid. Now, my transmission dipstick is not normally, it's not in the engine, it's at the bottom of the truck. I had to crawl underneath it. Cece, the brown Chihuahua I have, she thought it was hilarious because she was laughing the whole time that I was under the truck. And I've never seen her laugh. So I got the fluid in, didn't have any belief that it would work, and I started driving, and it worked. The next morning, okay, maybe it's going to last a day. It worked. Here it is, almost 3 weeks later, and it's still working. Now, eventually, I'm going to have to get the transmission rebuilt. I do have a warranty on it right now, but it's not at the point, and it may never get there, that it has to be done. I don't really put a lot of miles on the truck other than traveling out west and back east, and that's twice a year. So I had that to deal with. Okay, on the way to the desert. All right, weather's supposed to go, the temperature's supposed to go down. Hasn't gone down. Summer has been extended, and not only there, all over the country. So I had to stop and come here and rent this park for a couple of weeks. I've been monitoring the weather, and as I said, I'll be leaving a week from this coming Friday. I'll be heading to Arizona and keep this trip going here. And I'm eager to get back. I'm looking forward to it, actually. But this has been a little bit of a wake-up call. I wasn't expecting to do this stop, so it has been a rather desolate lonely trip. Let's not even mention the fact that the cell service here works great if you have AT&T, but my hotspot is Verizon, and my phone is T-Mobile, so I couldn't even do a video. I'm recording this now, but I probably will not be able to load it until I get to Comanche, to that other Corps of Engineer park. So, one thing you have to watch out for when you're doing this is that nothing is ever going to go according to plan. Thank God that I have had built systems, and I have learned a little bit about the system where I don't have to worry about going into a park where you're spending $50, $60 a night and you're like 3 feet away from the next trailer. There's nobody here. And with my senior citizen discount, which you get the federal pass, not only gives you free entry into national parks, but you get 50% off at most campgrounds. So here, this cost me $12 a night to get electric and water hookup. And I do have a dump, not here, I had to take the vehicle there. So I'm heading back to the site now. So I've been lucky. Now, if I had been already and I thought about going to New Mexico to a higher elevation, but then there's no guarantee there either. And not only that, I'm traveling by myself, and security is paramount to me. And, Murphy is not too far away from me half the time, so I figured I'd err on the side of caution and do this. And I have another reason too, but I'm not going to go into that here, why I'm taking a few extra precautions. But anyway, I'm back at my site. I don't know when this is going to post, more than likely Friday. I'll also be posting some photos of, as soon as I got here 2 weeks ago, had a couple of chicks checking me out. So if you go back at my Facebook page, I'll repost them again. And yeah, the ladies were looking at me. Anyway, everybody, I'll talk to you soon. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you.